Logging trucks can be devastating to country roads. To find out what kind of damage and how can logging trucks bring damage to the roads, we find an expert of this area. The Mono Country Highway Maintenance Superintendent, Mr. John Chambers, to give us more information. First of all, Mr. Chambers explained what kind of damage that heavy weight can bring to the roads.
Well, at certain times of the year, like now, when logging is prevalent, the effects are devastating on county roads. This time of the year we usually have a freeze-thaw effect. We haven't had that this year, but normally we do. An overladen log truck could destroy a county road in a couple of days.
When we asked if he had ever seen any damage or fixing of the roads, the answer obviously is yes.
Many times, yes. So I oversee it, keeping maintenance on county roads.
Since there is a weight limit of those roads, he gave us the limit number. However, instead of logging trucks, there are other heavyweight cars that may bring more damage to the roads.
Normally in the wintertime we have an 8-ton load limit in Monroe County. Any kind of heavy hauling, one of the biggest culprits is school buses, because it's a constant hauling every day. Things that we have to live, water trucks, milk trucks, school buses, trash trucks are really damage the roads, but anything heavy like that.
The ways of them bringing damage are also different.
It's the repeated heaviness. Trash trucks, I know, whenever they get into a situation where they have to pull up and back in, especially in subdivisions, they'll rut the road out. We'll have to go in and repair it.
Then he gave us the ways they use to control damage from logging trucks.
One thing that we do have control over logging in Monroe County, because they have to have a permit, which has to come through the planning department. When the permit's obtained by the planning department, they have to go to the highway engineering department, who gives them a driveway permit, which is basically a bond to be able to come out of their logging yard onto the roadway. And at that period of time, I'm contacted. I talk to the loggers before they can start. I give them a permit and tell them what kind of usage that they're able to do. If we do have the freeze and thaw and the roads are soft and we have temperatures fluctuating, one night it's 5 below zero and the next day it's 30, that just kills us because everything's so unstable. We will tell them what kind of loads they can haul. We'll tell them if the road starts to deteriorate that they're supposed to stop. And we can stop them from doing it too. So we have quite a bit of control.
We also asked if there is any constant logging roads, but instead of constant one, the logging roads changed a lot.
Not really. Log yards change every year when people want to have their property logged. So it varies. Very seldom is it the same road. And we don't have very many. As a matter of fact, I haven't had a permit come across my desk yet this year, and we're already in almost the middle of March. Typically, we'll get maybe 3 or 4 throughout the county.
The fixing of those damaged roads also take a long time.
Depending on the type of damage, if we let it go until they get into the base, where you've been out on the road and you see where ruts are and things, we'll have to dig that out with a piece of machinery, backfill it, compact that, and then pave over it. So it's really a lengthy time to get that taken care of, depending on where it's at. But normally we catch them before they destroy it too bad.
Since we decided to interview some loggers, Mr. Chambers pointed out that now might not be a good idea.
Loggers are for people like myself, DNR, places like that, loggers are not a very liked profession.
Gotcha.
Because it's all negativity as far as roadways go, as far as them raping the land or whatever people say.
Right, yeah.
We really don't have a problem with it in our department because, like I said, we have controls. And the people that we've been dealing with locally here are very respectful toward the roadways and toward the land and things. So we work well together.
The reasons of why do loggers not like to talk about logging is also interesting.
Never hear anything good about logging, and I know those folks, when they'll park their equipment, I know it's destroyed. People will come in and destroy their equipment, and their log trucks and things like that. So it's not, they're not very well liked.
Brogan Dellingrear, the student of IU Media School, also gave her experience of logging.
I can see that. I mean, in researching logging, all I've seen is negative stuff. And, yeah. And I mean, we have woods by my house, my parents' house, and it's been, we don't own it, but it's been logged recently, and so we've seen that, and my dad always talks about how it's needed, and so, because at first, I don't know, my initial response was, why are they cutting all the trees down? This is terrible, but yeah, so it's kind of interesting to see the other side of it.